Hi, so we have the two sons of Ramesses and two brothers. The first one is Ramesses VII, Usa Matra Setepenra Meriamun. Wow. So that's the truth and justice of Ra, the servant of Ra and beloved of Amun. And Rames says, born of Ra. So that's who he was, the sixth pharaoh. Yeah, and we're talking pharaohs now, aren't we? From the time of Menreptah, that's when the Israelites first started calling the leaders of Egypt Pharaoh, great house. It's Hebrew. And Menreptah used that for his glorification, really. So no longer are they called the Nebtawi, the Lord of Two Lands, although they're in the titles there. The second title of the king is the ladies' titles, Nebtawi. They're known now, the leaders of Egypt, as Pharaoh. It's from the time of Menreptah onwards. He was the grandson of Ramesses III, and he was the son of Ramesses VI. So he's got a big lineage here. He ruled Egypt for 7 to 8 years. The time period for his rule is debatable. There is two sets of dates, BCE dates, which I'm not going to give you because it's highly controversial. There's two camps arguing the fors and against, and I just like to see him in that 20th dynasty. So that's how I make sense of this time. The tomb was built, obviously, cut for him in the Valley of the Kings, KV1. It's 40 to 42 meters long in length, a T-tomb. The first archaeological excavation was done really in 1984-85. Up to then, it had just been tourists, people on their grand tours, plunderers, things like that. So the first one was done by Edwin Brock of the American University in Cairo. So he did the first proper excavation on this tomb. Now, Edwin Brock had worked extensively in the Valley of the Kings. He worked on KV8, Menreptah's tomb, KV10, Ramesses' tomb. He was part of the Theban mapping project as well. So he did a great deal of work. He was co-director of the Ramesses project, and he announced the rediscovery of KV63 with Otto Chardin. Now inside the tomb is the Book of Gates, the Book of Cavern, the Book of Earth. It's a similar style to Ramesses VI tomb. So remember, my idea is they were having these tombs cut at the same time. And you would have one gang mining out part of the passageways and the rooms, etc. And when they finished, they moved on to the other tomb, and in went the plasterers. So they're putting gypsum plaster over the wall to smooth them out. In come the artisans to carve all the bas relief in the plaster, and then in come the decorators. So they're popping from one side to another. So remember, during this time, from 19th dynasty onwards, they started cutting, stop, plaster, decorate. Cutting, stop, plaster, decorate. And then if the king was on his deathbed or getting mature in life, they would create the burial chamber, which is the T at the end of the tunnel. Okay? The tomb was robbed in antiquity, unfortunately. Ramesses VII was succeeded by his brother Ramesses VIII, who was Prince Sethep-hotpsef. He took the prenomen Usa Matra, very common, isn't it? The truth and justice of Ra. He was the 7th pharaoh of the 20th dynasty. He ruled Egypt for maybe 1 or 2 years. So he came to the throne very senior in life. I think of him as, I don't like to say this, a puppet king, controlled by others. Remember, these kings are only really ruling from the north, but they're being buried in the south. And the south is being ruled by the high priest of Amun. He has a lost tomb. Where's his tomb? Where is it? Where's it gone? Well, it's not lost. It's just we haven't found it yet. So it's somewhere in the Valley of the Kings, hopefully. Hopefully this tomb was cut at the same time as his brother Ramesses VII, and hopefully one day we'll find his tomb intact. Wouldn't that be great? Just like Tutankhamun's. The data of his reign come from inscriptions at Medina Habu, the Berlin Stele, various scarabs that have been found with his name and regnal date on, and graffiti in other private tombs. So that's how we know he existed. And there is a picture of him at Medina Habu. The tomb cut in the Queen's Valley, QV43, may have been for him. Also, another possible tomb may be, it was KV19, which is now Prince Mentuhotep Hotchef's tomb. These tombs may have been cut when he was a prince, and when he became king, he needed something more substantial for a royal king. But I don't go with that theory. He only ruled for maybe 1 or 2 years. That's not long to cut a royal tomb. It either had to be started by his brother, Ramesses VII, or it would just have been literally a room in the Valley of the Kings. So let's hope he did have a burial in the Valley of the Kings. It would be a room, a tomb room, with his remains and all of his goods in one room, because that's the only time they would have had to cut for 1 or 2 years. Okay, so those are the 2 sons of Ramesses and the 2 brothers who ruled Egypt, one after the other. Please press the subscribe button, thumbs up, leave a comment, and spread the word of this channel. I still need 100 subscribers so that I can ask YouTube for a domain name for this channel. I hope you're enjoying this series, and take care. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.